As a public defender, Judge Karen fought for her client's rights. She was elected to the bench because she believes in doing the right thing.
I'm very passionate about helping people, period.
Y'all two grown people need to get your own house.
Right.
You had 7 years to have told him that.
When we fight, who's gonna win?
You are.
I don't answer questions, I ask them.
Yes, ma'am.
Raise your right hand.
Objective, independent justice.
I'm ready to rule.
If you keep walking, you can overcome whatever circumstances you're facing.
This is Supreme Justice with Judge Karen. Shannon Myers is suing caterer Drew Bowen in the amount of $800. Ms. Myers claims she hired Ms. Bowen to cater a Mexican-themed party and says she was distraught when the defendant served Italian food instead.
Ms. Myers, you're suing Ms. Bowen for $800 for breach of contract, is that right?
Yes, I am.
And you're a caterer?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so how'd you meet this caterer?
A good friend of mine referred me to her company.
Okay. All right, and what type of event were you seeking a caterer for?
Well, for the last 2 years, my husband and I have been going through a very difficult time.
Okay.
We had separated. We went through a bunch of counseling. It's been, you know, a treacherous 2 years, and we have not been able to celebrate in events. We have worked through it. We have gotten back together, and it was his 50th birthday.
Okay.
And it was
It's like your first big event after you, like, repaired your marriage.
Absolutely.
Okay, and how long have you been a caterer?
7 years, Your Honor.
7 years.
I've been cooking for 30.
I'm sorry?
I've been cooking for 30.
You've been cooking for 30 years?
Yes, ma'am.
And a caterer for 7 years?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so a friend of yours referred you?
Yes.
All right, so you contacted Ms. Bowen, and what was the discussion?
Well, before we met in person, I just wanted to find out, you know, her offerings, the pricing, timelines, you know, what does she really offer?
What did you want to do?
Well, I wasn't really sure. I know I wanted, you know, my favorite food's Italian food.
Okay, so you wanted to do an Italian-themed party?
Yes. Well, I was a little back and forth because my husband's favorite is Mexican.
Okay, so the option was either Mexican or Italian?
Exactly, yes.
That was the discussion she was having with you, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, it was. Yes, ma'am, it was.
Because your favorite is Italian and his favorite is Mexican?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, so what did we decide?
We went with Mexican.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, is that right, Miss Bowen?
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Is something funny?
Yeah, actually, I find what she's saying very hilarious. So.
Well, did she go with a Mexican theme?
Yeah, that she did go with a theme. That's what her theme was.
Her
but that's
theme
not
was
what
Mexican.
She, yeah, that's not what she asked. That's not what she asked.
What did she ask for?
She told me the theme changed, which is why we are here today.
Okay, were y'all talking about two possible themes?
Yeah, she only had to because the way I'm set up, she is pre-made menus. So the price would go with either or if it was Mexican or Italian.
Right, but
and she kept going back and forth.
But what I'm wondering is, did she tell you that you have a contract to provide a Mexican theme?
Absolutely.
It's your contract.
It's right here.
Yes, ma'am, she did.
Okay, so we were going to go with a Mexican theme.
Yes.
Right? So what happened?
Well, the day of the event, she shows up with Italian food. Italian food. The only changes, which I made and I texted her about, were the amount of people and the address.
Is that true? Why'd you turn up with the Italian food?
Because her text message said that the theme has changed.
Did you text her and tell her the theme was changed?
No. The only thing
do you have the text messages?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Let me see the text message. Well, you can look at your own phone and see what text messages. You didn't text this lady for 2 years. It should be on your phone, your text messages. Hey, I have updates, and themes are changing.
Yes, but it's supposed to say things. Things are changing.
Oh, that was a typographical.
Exactly, and she didn't confirm.
We're having 80 guests instead of 70. We're going to have it at 7 p.m. These are the final changes.
Yes. No change to the food.
Okay, but it doesn't make grammatical sense. Themes are changing.
Yes.
Okay, because we don't have themes. We have a theme.
Yes.
Exactly. You know, so the theme is changing, but its themes are changing.
Yes.
Okay, I got it. Can't wait. Thanks again for understanding. You never called and said, I want to make sure I understand what this means.
Okay,
the themes are changing.
Okay, for that, Your Honor, let me explain something. This particular client was very difficult during our whole meeting.
Okay.
Throughout our whole...
How was she difficult?
She kept changing between the two themes. Okay, it's her husband.
She changed the theme after Mexican?
She just kept back and forth.
She called back again and said, no, we're going back to Italian.
She kept changing back and forth.
She said again that we're going back to Mexican. Did you keep doing that, ma'am?
I mean, a couple times we had discussions of the different possibilities.
Okay,
but I never changed the contract.
Coming up on Supreme Justice.
Did you ever provide an amendment to her saying we're changing this?
We didn't have to due to the fact that the pricing was the same. No price that actually changed.
No. You did have to. That's why you're in court right now.
And later.
I was at a bar after work on a Wednesday night having a drink, and the defendant approached me, actually.
Okay.
She came up to me at the bar and started a conversation.
Right. Did you think she was flirting with you?
If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. You're watching Supreme Justice with Judge Karen. Supreme Justice is back with the case of Shannon Myers, who is suing Drew Bowen for breach of contract.
My question is, after the contract, did you ever contact her and say, I want to go back to the Mexican? I'm sorry, the Italian.
I never said, definitely, I want to change.
Okay. What did you say to her? Because she's telling me a couple of times you switched back after the contract.
Yes, but it was not a couple times.
Okay,
I think.
Well, was it one time then? Because if it ain't a couple,
I think it was maybe one time. I thought I might do Italian.
What happened that one time?
We just had a phone call, and I said I might do Italian. I don't know, but I'll let you know if I'm definitely going to change my mind.
She's saying she never told you, I'm changing.
Your Honor.
I would think if she told you that she was changing, you would have amended the contract.
Exactly.
Because you had a contract with her that said it was going to be Mexican, didn't you? Let me see the contract.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me see the contract. You've been in business 7 years. If the terms of the contract change, you would need to change the contract.
Yes, ma'am, I would.
Okay, so this contract never changed. It was Mexican.
Yes. And she's the one that changed. Okay. I tried to accommodate her because.
But if you're the business person.
Yes, ma'am.
You're the one presenting a contract to be signed.
Yes, ma'am.
This now has changed. Did you ever provide an amendment to her saying we're changing this?
We didn't have to due to the fact that the pricing was the same. No price that actually changed.
No. You did have to. That's why you're in court right now. You did have to because the contract says, I'm giving you a taco bar, Mexican thing.
Yes.
Now that's not what I provided. I provided what? What did she provide?
She ended up providing Italian on the day of.
Right.
I had 80 people coming.
Right.
What was I didn't have time to get other food.
Right.
She wasn't offering any alternative.
So did you have the place set up in a Mexican theme?
I did.
Like what?
I have
mariachi players and
evidence right here.
Did you have mariachis?
We did not, but we had the margaritas, we had pinatas.
You had the pinatas?
People would show up to dress with the theme.
Oh, so what did they wear?
Sombreros and, you know, festive clothing.
So there was not even any tacos there?
No.
No guacamole and chips?
No, we had the margaritas and Coronas.
Oh,
That's about
margaritas and Coronas. Well, look at this melding of you and your husband now. You got both of your themes together. You got the Italian and you got the Mexican. What happened when you got the Mexican?
I never thought of it that way, but.
I understand, but I mean, you kind of got both. You got your favorite food, actually.
Yeah.
Did people eat the food?
Yes, they did.
Did anybody complain? I wouldn't have come here if I had known this was going to be Italian because I wanted Mexican. Any complaint?
Well, I have one elderly aunt who, you know, she was very disappointed.
The devil is a liar.
Yeah, we all have that elderly aunt.
The devil is a liar.
What are you saying now?
It's talking about one complaint. No one complaed. There was nothing left to complain about.
Wait. This lady had 80 people people there who were friends and family of them. You don't know who complained to her. You weren't a part of every conversation. So what I want to understand,
you weren't in the kitchen 24/7.
Myers, is that people believe that they have been wronged and that they can prove they're wrong. We had a contract. I could prove that. She breached her contract. I could prove that. But there's a third element that you have to prove in any case. that you have been damaged somehow to your detriment. Where is the damage?
The damage is, you know, emotionally.
Oh, come on now. Wait.
Seriously?
Yeah, Hatchett.
That's what we doing? That's what we doing?
Okay.
Okay.
My husband was disappointed.
Right.
That's what we doing, okay.
Oh, yeah,
but you know, you pay for something.
Right.
You should get what you paid for.
I agree you should, but you have not been damaged. Y'all ate the food, everybody had a good time.
Yep.
I mean, you haven't proven to me that you were somehow damaged.
But
now, there's sometimes in contract law that I could even find if you had no real damages, I could impose punitive damages, which is to punish the defendant for what she did, but not in your state. In your state, I cannot award punitive damages here.
So
you have to prove to me you were damaged. Just saying, oh, it's emotional and all that, that's not proof. You're just making stuff up as you go along. Unfortunately, you haven't been able to prove to me how you were damaged. But therefore, I'm going to dismiss the case. Without prejudice. Without prejudice, which means if you want to refile it with some proof of damages, you could do that.
Can I ask you one quick question?
No. What's your question?
What would be the proof of damages?
Okay, I don't answer questions.
Okay.
For instance, if you feel like there's been emotional distress because of what she did, that would be proof of damages.
You lost
okay? But in the meantime, is there a psychologist waiting outside to tell me about your emotional distress? Is there a psychologist there waiting to tell me about your emotional? No,
not today. I could get one.
Okay. That's the next time around. That's the next judge.
Okay.
Okay. But this case is dismissed without prejudice.
Thank you.
Good luck to you both.
All rise.
Judge Karen has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's case has been dismissed.
I feel vindicated.
Well, I'm very disappointed. I received no compensation. I guess I have to prove damages now.
Coming up.
There were some rumors in the community saying that there was some safety violations, basically.
Like, for instance, what?
That there was expired food being used.
You're watching Supreme Justice with Judge Karen. Restaurant server Christian Gold is suing Kim Gomez in the amount of $2,995.20. Mr. Gold claims Ms. Gomez hid her job as a journalist and says he was fired when the defendant quoted him in an article about his employer.
Mr. Gold, you're suing Ms. Gomez for $2,995.20 for invasion of your privacy. Is that right?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right. And you were an employee at a restaurant?
Yes, I'm a server. I was a server.
Okay. And this money represents what? Money lost for not being able to work, or you lost your job?
Yeah, for the month of August.
Because of the alleged invasion of privacy?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. What do you do for a living?
I'm a freelance journalist.
Okay. All right. So how did you come into contact with the defendant?
I was at a bar after work on a Wednesday night, having a drink, and the defendant approached me, actually.
Okay.
She came up to me at the bar and started a conversation.
Right. Did you think she was flirting with you?
Maybe a little,
right.
You know?
Okay. All right.
But
so did she offer to buy you a drink or something?
Yeah, she bought me a couple of drinks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But only after I told her what I did for work.
What did you tell her you did for work?
Well, I told her I was a server at the Petite Cafe.
Okay.
And she seemed to be super interested in that. And
right.
So I kind of just started talking, as one does, you know, when you get friendly with someone, about how, you know, some issues I had with my workplace.
Right. So what did you tell her about that?
Oh, I was just saying how I had some issues with how some of the kitchen staff, you know, handled things. My boss is into some shady behavior sometimes.
Right. You didn't ever know this lady, though.
No, but like, I had a rough day.
Right.
And I was stressed.
Were you flirting with him?
No, I was just making friendly conversation. I normally go to this bar a few times a week, and I love to chat with people and hear their stories, which is part of the reason why I know him.
Did you know when you met him that he worked at that restaurant? I had no clue.
Coming up.
Did you accuse your boss of keeping a large portion of your tips?
Not directly, Your Honor.
Okay. Indirectly?
You're watching Supreme Justice with Judge Karen. Supreme Justice is back with the case of Christian Gold, who is suing Kim Gomez for invasion of privacy.
So what made this now of interest to you, what he's telling you about the restaurant?
Well, I had been working on a piece regarding the restaurant. There were some rumors in the community saying that there was some safety violations, basically.
Like, for instance, what?
That there was expired food being used. There was also the cooks not wearing gloves, and cross-contamination. It used to be a popular restaurant, but it seems to kind of have fallen off. And so,
well, did the health department ever come around to this restaurant?
They did.
When you were there?
And we never failed a health inspection before she published her hit piece.
What happened? You wrote an article about this restaurant?
I did.
And did you mention his name?
I did not.
Okay, so what in this article references you?
It is in the last 2 paragraphs on that sheet.
An individual whose identity shall remain anonymous told me that outside of the week which the health inspector comes, Mr. Fernandez allows the chef to use old, borderline expired ingredients.
Only a select few individuals would have that information.
How many employees work there?
5.
Okay, so, but why did it have to be you of the 5?
Because I was consistently bringing up these issues to my boss.
Okay, and the next paragraph, he's keeping Mr. Fernandez is suspected of keeping a large portion of his employees' tips. Did you accuse your boss of keeping a large portion of your tips?
Not directly, Your Honor.
Okay, indirectly?
I mean, I would speak with my coworkers about it.
Judge Karen's verdict when Supreme Justice returns. You're watching Supreme Justice with Judge Karen.
Let's look at the statute in your state, Pennsylvania, for invasion of privacy. These are the elements. You know what the elements is? The elements are? The elements, what you need to prove in this case for me to find in your favor. That the defendant gave publicity to a matter that concerns the private life of another. Number 2, the matter is publicized. It was. The publication is in a manner that will be highly offensive to a reasonable person. Are you offended?
Not at all.
I am. I'm offended.
Maybe you're not as reasonable. Number 4, the matter is not one of legitimate public concern. I think unsanitary conditions in a restaurant are legitimate public concern issues. Now, Mr. Gold, what have you learned from this experience?
To keep my mouth shut when talking to strangers, I guess.
Right. And I don't believe that this was just happenstance. I think you knew who he was when you approached him, but that's neither here nor there. I'm ready to rule. You have not met the 4 elements. Therefore, you have not met the burden of proof. Therefore, I rule in favor of the defendant. Good luck to you.
Judge Karen has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been denied.
I'm really glad that justice was served today and journalism and freedom of speech is protected.
Really needed that money. Don't know how I'm going to get by.
This has been a production of Allen Media Group.